I will run to her. You can't stop me.
Yes, I can. I'm locking us in.
No.
It was silly that I had to argue with myself. One more moon until my alpha ceremony and I was fighting with my own wolf. Did I want Ari? Absolutely. My wolf liked to torture me with images of having her in my arms, trying to convince me to go back for her, but my reasoning was solid. Even just today, my reasons were enforced by the way the new wolves were acting. Watching Layla allow her moon call to control her emotions was all the reminder I needed to quell my weakening resolve. Ari needed to be kept away from rampaging wolves, myself included, because seeing Layla made me feel furious and almost out of control.
Layla's stupid. She has no sense of dignity, only pride, and she's mean.
I agree.
You're mean too for locking us in.
I agree. I need to protect her from us, I sighed. I walked myself into the cage room. All youngling rooms had one for the times they weren't in control. I never had to use it before and I could feel my wolf resenting me. I locked the cage with me in it. My body shook as the moonlight came over the horizon. I slipped into wolf form.
I love her. I love her.
Calm down, wolf. I tried to soothe, but he blocked me, knocking me unconscious from his actions. Morning came, and I could feel the bruises my wolf left on us from his attempts at bashing through the bars. I hissed with the ache of my bruises. He was refusing to heal me. Fine, hurt me, but I'm not changing my mind. It hurt less than how much I missed her anyway. My wolf growled at me, but remained distant. The mirror showed deep purple bruising on my shoulders and collarbone. My hoodie would cover it, but I remembered I didn't have it anymore. Automatically looking out the window in the direction my mate was in, I felt for her. Somehow she felt just as distant as my wolf, and I felt cold and alone.
Trixie was very fun to be around. She made my transition into modelling very easy. I never knew opportunities like this could just fall into your lap. It was interesting to me that people thought I looked pretty, and I liked all the nice clothes that actually fit my body. Nothing overly sexy, usually posing with perfume or brand name purses. I found the entire thing easy and stress-free. On top of it all, they liked my eyes. It was new, looking directly at things and not having to feel shame. They had trimmed my hair just enough to give it an even look, given me a mani-pedi, exfoliated everything, and even gave me a spa treatment my first week on the job. I was glowing. The only odd thing was how they cleaned up after me. All my trimmed hair was gathered up and put into glass jars, as were my nail clippings. The clothes I wore for photo shoots were immediately hung on another rack labelled auction. I asked one of the makeup girls about it, and she told me it was just part of the clean-up process here. The clothes would be auctioned at an event coming up. I assumed it was for some sort of charity. I didn't give it much thought. This was the way they functioned. Simple as that. I was just so grateful for this job. Even if the opportunity was temporary, I was learning so much about self-care and confidence. Trixie even looked after my nutrition, making sure I drank plenty of fluids and got plenty of vitamins. My favourite was this tropical juice she would bring me. It made me feel refreshed and bold. Everywhere I went now, people stopped and stared. After Trixie told me it was because they recognised me from the magazine, and if not, it was because I was beautiful, I stopped feeling overly conscious of it. They were admirers, not people who wanted to harm me. Another new thing. I wasn't afraid. I never realised until now how afraid I had been my entire life. I soaked in this freedom. Still, I spent time at the library trying to fix up my resume. As much as I liked this job, I was sure it wouldn't last. I needed to find a way to provide for myself. I needed to find my own place so I wasn't relying on Reed. I wanted to pay him back and thank him and be independent. I hated that I still missed him, and how at night when I was alone, I clung to his shirt for comfort. I knew I needed to let go. I felt closer to letting him go, though. I embraced his shirt and promised myself, "Soon. I'll get over you soon."
3 weeks, and it was killing me to be without Ari, and I felt increasing rage against Layla. I did my best to stay away from the she-wolf, but this morning, Layla made sure everyone near her could hear her tantrum.
Why does she ruin everything?
What's wrong?
Sarah asked, quickly taking charge as she felt my stress shoot up just at the grating sound of Layla's voice.
Just look.
Layla slammed her magazine down. There was an ad for perfume.
What about it?
Look at the model.
Holy shit. No way that's actually her.
She's clearly doing well for herself.
Was she always so sexy?
Jason asked.
Look at those sweet curves.
Sarah and even Elliot nodded in agreement. My mood darkened possessively, and I had to remind myself I had no right to feel that way and to cool down.
She's ruining my magazines. I mean, she's not even that pretty.
Layla scoffed. I looked over Sarah's shoulder at the open page. Ari was the model, and yeah, she was gorgeous. She looked incredible with her impossibly straight black hair loose down to her hips, her lips the same shade of red as the background, her bangs swept to the side, and her super light blue eyes accentuated by dark lashes. The image was striking. And what she wore? A satin dress with a high slit up her perfect thigh.
They clearly had to airbrush her. I mean, she fell down the stairs. She's supposed to be black and blue.
My anger shot up and felt ice hot. I already knew Layla had pushed Ari down the stairs, but was this bitch actually bragging about it? I very quietly asked, "And I suppose you're the one who pushed her?"
Because she annoyed me.
Layla looked at me as if she was in the right.
She was up on the 3rd floor going through our stuff.
She was cleaning, I corrected.
Whatever. She was bothering you too. I took care of it. It's called initiative.
I almost roared, but continued with my deadly quiet voice. No one asked you to. Shit like that is why I didn't pick you for beta. I should have you demoted from the elite. It was difficult keeping every word in my human tone, making sure it carried none of the heat searing inside me. Jason and Elliot oohed. Layla's hackles rose, and she had the audacity to look insulted. "Come on, Sarah, we have that meeting with the Alpha." Sarah followed, completely ignoring Layla's colorful protests. Layla threw the magazine in my direction and I caught it without even breaking my stride. I didn't even look back, knowing this would piss Layla off even more.
So that's why you left during the storm, to get the girl out.
Sarah stated once out of earshot of the others. I stopped.
I'm your beta. I know when you're close and when you're not, and when you're hiding something.
The alpha-beta bond was still just a seed, but it was strong enough for that.
I've kept quiet, Reed, for weeks. I think you can tell me now, don't you?
She was getting hurt. Layla was taking out her frustrations on a servant. I almost said her name. Saying her name would break my composure. It would also show that I felt close to the girl everyone referred to as the halfling. I doubted anyone remembered her name. The prank with the storm, did you know she got thrown by a lightning strike?
Whoa, no way. How'd she live?
If she were full human, she'd be dead. Sarah grabbed the magazine from me and looked at the picture again.
It's not even been a month and she looks like this? Damn.
Well, there might be something to that airbrush theory. I wasn't about to tell Sarah that I healed most of it with my touch. No one could know about my secret bond.
Leaving her out in the storm was bad enough, but pushing her down the stairs too? It's a really crappy thing to do.
Sarah sounded disappointed in Layla.
You were right not to pick her as your beta.
Sarah beamed her smile up at me. I playfully shoved her shoulder. She shoved back harder, knocking me off course. Don't get cocky. We've got to keep our focus. I straightened up and determinedly walked down the hall. The Alpha ceremony is on the harvest moon, and we have a lot to do.
Should we tell Alpha Ian about Layla's behavior?
I have my own thoughts on that. I tried to act calm, but I was quietly panicking, and Sarah knew it. She just didn't know why. Maybe marry her off to another pack.
Good luck. The only way she'd marry anyone is if they're Alpha.
Maybe she'll be bound to an Omega.
A rogue.
I chuckled, shaking my head. Elliot would pine.
Yes, he would.
Everyone knew that Layla became Elliot's girlfriend because she thought he would be the next Alpha. If Elliot wasn't chosen for Gamma, Layla would likely dump him. Hell, even if he were Gamma, she'd dump him as soon as someone with a higher rank showed up.
Are you getting enough sleep?
No such thing as sleep. I huffed as we sat on the couch of the waiting area. It was a small nook made of dark paneling and deep red accents. With no windows and a soft couch, it invited my exhaustion to take over. I tried to fight it. The elders were finishing up their reports with Alpha, Ian. It would only be a few minutes to our turn. I felt anxious. Somehow I felt uneasy about Ari being in a magazine for the world to see. I had no right to be possessive after letting her go. But my wolf was growling.
Ari's mine. Hurry, hurry. I need to get to Ari.
Restless, my leg tapping sped up. The doors opened and I immediately headed in to get the meeting over with. I was half crazy out of my mind. Nothing of the meeting stuck with me. Next thing I knew, I was in my truck rushing towards Halifax. My brain kept trying to figure out how the hell Ari ended up a model. She was in the human world just weeks. Was she just lucky? I mean, she really was beautiful. Or was there some other manipulation going on? Was this a message meant for me? I must be overthinking this, right? No one knew she was my mate. But I couldn't shake this feeling like she was falling into the clutches of something. It didn't matter. She was supposed to be mine. I sped in my truck and I got to the apartment quicker than I expected. The closer I got to her, the stronger I felt our bond. My body was screaming at me to run so I could be with her. I ran up the stairs and took a steadying breath before I knocked. The door creaked open. There was nothing in the place but her scent. Where was she? I followed the scent as far as I could to a nearby park, bright and full of trees, completely out of place in the city. The leaves were glowing green with sunlight pouring through them. The sun was a gentle, late afternoon gold, showing like a spotlight on her silhouette. Relief washed over me. Suddenly I felt as if I was standing on sacred ground. I was glued to the spot. She gracefully stood, turning towards the breeze. She looked as elegant as she did in the magazine. Her lips upturned in a smile as she took a deep breath in. She stopped and turned towards me as if startled.
Read.
Her sweet voice unfroze me and beckoned me closer. Reverently, I walked up to her, looking down into her sky-blue eyes. Being away from you is killing me, I confessed. She looked confused.
You don't want me?
I want you. I want you more than you could know. I moved my face closer to hers slowly. She turned her face away, denying our lips the union they so longed for.
Don't say that, because I want to believe you.
I took her chin gently and had her face me again. Believe me. My lips touched hers lightly. Her lips tasted sweet like pears. I sighed, a long-standing ache easing. When I opened my eyes, she was glaring at me.
I'm trying to face reality, but when you kiss me like that, being with you like this hurts.
She put her fist to her heart, softly hitting it. Her breath caught as tears bloomed. Why? She touched my face. Her teary eyes focused on me.
Because we can never have this.
I can't be without you. She shook her head, denying my words. The warm, golden glow of the world dimmed a little. You're my soul. I wrapped her in my arms closer. I need you. Her sad smile was heartbroken. I rested my forehead against hers. I felt myself shiver in delight as she brushed her fingers along my jawline. I closed my eyes, following the sensation as it traveled down my spine, feeling my pulse rise.
I wish this were real, but you're not really here.
But I am. When I opened my eyes, she was gone. Darkness rushed at me,